Imagine you're alive, but you wish you weren't. Your body is in pain, your mind is screaming, and the clock is ticking toward the end. Today, we're diving into some of the most horrifying, shocking, and downright cruel ways people have met their end throughout history. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be hugging your pillow in relief that you were born in the modern age. Section 1. The Brazen Bull, Ancient Greece. Imagine a giant, shiny bull made entirely out of bronze, standing proudly in the center of a city square. At first glance, it might look like a piece of art, a statue to impress visitors. But in ancient Greece, this was no ordinary statue. This was the brazen bull, one of the most terrifying execution devices in history. The story begins with Perilos of Athens, the man who actually invented this horrifying machine. He presented it to the tyrant ruler Phalaris of Agrigentum, claiming it would be the most humane and entertaining way to punish criminals. Humane? Not even close. Here's how it worked. The bull was hollow on the inside, with a small door on one side. The condemned person would be forced inside, and the door locked tight. Beneath the bull, a fire would be lit, heating the bronze until it became scorching hot. Slowly, the heat would rise inside, roasting the victim alive. But here's the most disturbing part. The brazen bull had a special system of pipes and tubes in its head. As the victims screamed in pain, their cries would be transformed into the sound of a raging bull. To the crowd, it was almost like a horrifying performance, with the bull coming alive in front of their eyes. Legend has it that the inventor, Perilos, didn't get the glory he expected. Phalaris decided to test the invention on him first, and Perilos became the bull's first victim. The brazen bull wasn't just about killing, it was about making death a public spectacle. It sent a chilling message: defy the ruler, and your end will be as horrifying as the sound of a bull's roar echoing across the city. Section 2. Scaphism, Persian Empire. If the brazen bull was horrifying, Scaphism takes cruelty to an entirely new level, a slow death that turns nature itself into the executioner. This method was used in the Persian Empire for the worst criminals, traitors, or enemies of the state. The setup was simple but terrifying. The victim would be laid between two wooden boats or hollowed-out tree trunks, with only their head, hands, and feet sticking out. The rest of the body was trapped inside, completely immobilized. Then came the cruel twist. The executioners would force-feed the victim a mixture of milk and honey until their stomach could hold no more. This wasn't kindness. This was part of the torture. The excess food caused severe diarrhea, and the sticky honey was smeared over every exposed part of the victim's skin, face, arms, legs. Once ready, the boats were floated out onto a stagnant, dirty pond, surrounded by reeds and buzzing insects. Flies, ants, and other bugs would swarm to the sweet smell, crawling over the victim, biting, stinging, and eventually burrowing into open sores. The worst part? This wasn't over in a few hours. Historical accounts claim victims could survive like this for several days, sometimes even over a week, slowly wasting away from infection, dehydration, and the constant attack of insects. Ancient writers like Plutarch described scaphism as a punishment that not only killed the body, but broke the mind, a slow, creeping death where every minute was agony. It wasn't just execution, it was a spectacle of suffering. In the Persian Empire, this method served as a brutal warning. Betray the king, and you would not only die, you would become food for the smallest creatures in the land. Section 3. Rat Torture, Medieval Era. Imagine being tied down tightly, unable to move, while terrifying little creatures begin their attack, not from the outside, but directly on your body. This was the nightmare of rat torture, a cruel method used in medieval Europe and parts of Asia to punish and break prisoners. The process was gruesome. The victim was securely bound to a wooden table or the floor. Then, a cage full of live rats was placed on their chest or abdomen. But it wasn't just the rats alone. Torturers would heat the cage from above, using fire or hot coals. As the heat increased, the rats became frantic, desperate to escape the unbearable warmth. Their only way out was to dig downwards, straight into the prisoner's body. Imagine the horror of feeling tiny sharp claws and teeth tearing through your skin as these frightened creatures clawed their way inside. This slow and agonizing death was meant to terrify not only the victim, but also anyone who heard about it. Rat torture wasn't just physical pain, it was psychological terror. The knowledge that such a horrific death awaited those who crossed the wrong people was a powerful tool to keep order and fear. Though there aren't many detailed written records, historical accounts suggest this method was used during interrogations to force confessions or punish severe crimes. The horror of rats burrowing under your skin while you remained helpless is something few can even imagine. The cruelty of rat torture shows how dark and inventive human punishment methods have been throughout history. From the smallest creatures, nature was turned into a weapon of terror, reminding us how fear and pain have been intertwined in brutal ways. Section 4. Flaying alive various cultures. One of the most horrifying and brutal ways to die in history was flaying alive, the act of slowly peeling the skin off a person's body while they were still alive. This cruel punishment was practiced by different civilizations, including the Assyrians, Aztecs, and even some medieval cultures. Imagine being tied down, helpless, while your skin is carefully cut and peeled away inch by inch. The pain was unimaginable, raw nerve endings exposed, every movement sending shockwaves of agony through the body. This wasn't just a method of execution, it was a terrifying spectacle designed to spread fear. Flaying was often used as a public punishment. The skin of the victim might be displayed or hung as a warning to others, showing what happens to those who dared to rebel or break the law. It was meant to send a chilling message: disobedience would cost you your very skin. Historians believe that this gruesome practice was sometimes combined with other tortures or executions, making the victim's final moments a nightmare of pain and terror. The slow nature of the punishment meant that victims often remained conscious for a long time, fully aware of their suffering. Despite how horrifying it sounds, flaying was sadly an effective method of control. The horror stories spread quickly, discouraging rebellion and keeping rulers in power. It serves as a dark reminder of how far humans have gone in the name of punishment. Thankfully, such brutal methods have long been abolished, but remembering them helps us appreciate the progress humanity has made toward justice and humanity. Section 5. The Blood Eagle, Viking Ritual. Among the many brutal execution methods in history, the blood eagle stands out as one of the most shocking and terrifying. This was a ritual said to be practiced by the Vikings, fierce warriors known for their fearlessness and harsh justice. The blood eagle was no ordinary execution. The victim's back was cut open from the spine outward. Then, the ribs were broken and pulled apart to resemble wings, while the lungs were pulled out and draped over these wings. The image was horrifying, a man transformed into a gruesome, bloody eagle. Some historians debate whether the blood eagle was a real practice or just a legend passed down through stories. But either way, the vivid descriptions have captured imaginations for centuries. The ritual was meant not only to kill, but to send a terrifying message to enemies and traitors, a warning that betrayal or defiance would be met with the most savage punishment imaginable. The ritual was reportedly performed publicly, amplifying the fear it created among the Vikings and their enemies alike. It was designed to be a slow and painful death, combining physical agony with psychological terror. Thinking about the blood eagle today reminds us of a dark side of history, where justice was brutal and fear ruled. It makes us appreciate how far we've come in terms of human rights and fairness. If you found this story intense and want to learn more shocking historical facts, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Share this video with your friends so they too can discover these incredible yet chilling tales from the past. Your support helps us bring more amazing content every week.